The most unpredictable league in the world is back, and that is the Championship. Southampton play Sheffield Wednesday in the first match at 8 p.m. This video will be just after that match, so my prediction could be going wrong right away because at 24th position, we're starting with Sheffield Wednesday. And why I think Sheffield Wednesday is going to come 24th is they've got the oldest squad in the league. They got promoted, but then they just sacked their manager and they bring in a new manager by the name of Cisco, who hasn't got the best track record, not even in a championship, but in his career. He's got 36 games at Watford, only 32 games in Spain with Huesca, I think it's called, and 13 games when he managed in the Cyprus Premier League with on our faith. I don't know. He's not been around long. He's not even got 100 games in managerial career. Sheffield Wednesday brought him on, just got promoted to went Darmer. You were good, you got us promoted, and kicked him out the door. What I'm worried about is where's the goals going to come from Sheffield Wednesday. Ashley Fletcher they brought in on loan. He's a striker, yes, but he's not a goal scorer. He's not the guy that'll bag you 15 goals a season for Sheffield Wednesday, maybe going for 20 goals. He's not that striker. You're lucky if Ashley Fletcher has double digits this year. Sheffield Wednesday's going to get relegated, but along with the relegated Sheffield Wednesday, 23rd position, I'm going from Rotherham. One of my favourite footballers to watch, especially last year, that's not in the Prem, was Ogbenya, because he's Irish. When he played for Ireland, he was really good. It got me really invested in him. When I played FIFA, or Football Manager, he was a player I always used to sign. Ogbenya, I really liked him. He's moved to Luton Town. Rotherham will miss his goal contributions this year. They've also lost Wes Harding. They replaced him with Grant Hall, a 31-year-old centre back, and Cafu, a 30-year-old centre mid from Forest. Cafu didn't do it at Forest. Grant Hall's been around the block. The quality isn't there for Rotherham. They survive year in, year out. I just don't think they survive this year at all. I think this is the year that they get relegated. Every year they're just playing with relegation and they just about avoid it. I think this year they're going to do a hard task to avoid relegation. I think they finish in 23rd position. 22nd, James Alcott is going to hate me, but Queen's Park Rangers are getting relegated this year. The club's a mess. They got no money. The ownership's a mess. They released their captain, Stefan Johansson. They sold Nico Hammerlin, I think that's how you said, Leon Boggan, the Rangers. Senny Deng, who was the goalkeeper last year, one of the best goalkeepers QPR had for years and years now. Connor Matterson, a good centre back, and Rob Dickey. They sold a lot of people and pushed a lot of people out the door. They brought in Asmir Begovic as the new number one, and Jack Colback coming in for Forest will be good. I think Jack Colback last year when he played for Forest, he was a good player when he did get some game time for Forest in the Prem and we're playing the Cup. However, in the Championship, he'll be able to break it down a little bit more. Still only like 30, 31. But I think Gareth Ainsworth is my first manager to be sacked this year. I think he struggles. I think QPR struggle from the bat this season. First game of the season, they struggled massively. And I think Gareth Ainsworth is going to be the first one out the door. And I think QPR is going to finish 22nd. Who's the team closest to getting relegated, but survive by the skin of their teeth? And the only reason I think they survive is because Neil Warnock is the Huddersfield manager. They did sold 20-year-old their centre mid Kamara to Udinese for 2 million. They sold 12 players and only brought 2 in, one of which was a loan of the players they brought in. They pushed 12 players out the door for a team who didn't really play that well last year and brought in 1 permanent deal and 1 loan. And it's not going to light Huddersfield up. Huddersfield struggled this year. The only reason I think they survive is because of Neil Warnock, and I think Huddersfield have a troublesome season incoming. In 20th position, Preston North End. I know. They usually finish around mid-table. That's what they're known for. They draw 30 games a season. They finish mid-table. That is Preston North End. However, losing Daniel Johnson is going to be a massive miss for them this year. Bringing in Calvin Ramsey and Leighton Stewart from Liverpool on loan. Calvin Ramsey should be a good addition to the backline for them. An ex-Aberdeen player, done it in Scottish Premier League against the likes of Celtic and Rangers week in, week out. Couldn't get game time at Liverpool, but then again, he's behind Trent in the pecking order. On loan to Preston this year, should do very well for Preston. I do think bringing in Walt King and Dwayne Holmes is good signings. Dwayne Holmes from Huddersfield and Walt King coming on as a striker. However, is Walt King the 20 goal striker that Preston North End need? I don't think I think he lacks the goals. League One striker, I think, is brilliant. Championship striker, I think he will lack a little bit of the quality to be a championship striker. If Mats Jensen, a guy they signed for 1.3 million, he's a big signing for Preston North End. 1.3 million. Replacement to Daniel Johnson. Will he hit the ground running, or will the big names struggle? If he doesn't hit the ground running, Dwayne Holmes, Will King, the pressure is on those guys to perform for Preston North End, and I think they struggle a little bit this year. I still don't think they get relegated, but I think they finish a lot lower than what Preston North End fans expect. But 20th place for Preston North End. 19th spot. They just got promoted from League One. Plymouth Argyle. The Plymouth Argyle's home record in League One was unbelievable. I think they will continue that home record and make it a fortress again this year. However, I do think that they made some good signings. Lewis Gibson from Everton on a free transfer. Morgan Whittaker for 1.1 million from Swansea, I think is a brilliant signing for Plymouth Argyle. Van Azaz on loan, I think that's how you say his name. And then one I'm really intrigued by is Julio Pleglucio. I think that's how, I'm not sure if that's how you play it. I butchered his name, okay. Julio Pleglucio. He's an ex-Barca and ex-Arsenal youth player. Free transfer from FC Twente where he played last year. However, the only issue that Plymouth had last year is they conceded too many goals. Is that going to be an issue in the championship? Lewis Gibson and Morgan Whittaker are all coming in. New signings coming in is good, but still, I still think if they conceded a lot of goals in League One and they haven't really strengthened that much defensively, I think they conceded a lot of goals this year again. However, I still think they survived their first year back in the championship. Plymouth Argyle, 19th. No. I really wanted to put Cardiff City to get relegated. However, because it's the closest team to me in the championship, IRL in real life, I want to support them. And with the addition of Aaron Ramsey, I think Cardiff City is going to finish 18th. However, I think Aaron Ramsey needs to play as a 10 for Cardiff City this year. He played more as a 6 for in France when he was over there, but if I'm coming to Cardiff, he needs to play as a 10, especially in the championship. Cardiff haven't got really good strikers. They have a lot of people who are like falling off. Sheikh Ojo, Callum Robinson, Carlin Grant coming in on loan. It should be good. Another striker with Callum Robinson leading the line up top. Ramsey and behind pulling the strings with Sheikh Ojo, Callum Wildauda. There's enough quality to survive. Signed Gottas from Greece as a centre back for a 1 million, I think it was. Who is Gottas? I don't know who he is, but then I also don't know who the manager Bullet. I don't know who he is. He's unproven. Cardiff City are taking a stab in the dark with him. No one knows who the manager is. The new Greece centre back, no one knows who he is. There's a lot of uncertainty at Cardiff City at the minute, going, who is this manager and what style of football is he going to bring to Cardiff? The addition of Aaron Ramsey is good. However, is it enough for Cardiff to survive? I think they survive. Aaron Ramsey's experience helps them, and they finished 18th. However, question marks over the manager. 17th position. This team has got Adama Traore. Not that Adama. They got Estupiñán. Again, not that Estupiñán. They got Xavi Simons. Once again, not that Xavi Simons. This is Hull City. Hull City's got a solid squad. They will do okay. Liam Rosnier as a manager, I really like him, but I don't think he survives the season. However, I've done my notes on everything before the signing of Aaron Connolly. And now looking at it, I might have moved Hull City up a bit because I think Aaron Connolly for Brighton was good. I think Aaron Connolly in the championship is going to kill it. And I think Hull City got a brilliant strike force. Aaron Connolly and Liam Delap. Two young strikers. Delap from City and Aaron Connolly from Brighton. Two young strikers up top for Hull City. Going to be really intrigued to watch a Hull City game this year to see them. But I think Rosnier is a good manager. However, I think in the championship, if you lose 6-7 games in a row or don't get a 1 of 6-7 games, your job right away is under fire. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think Hull City struggle about the start of the season. Maybe by January, Liam Rosnier will be out the door because they want to pick up a 1 in like 6, 7, 8 games. New manager coming in, or whoever the new manager is, will help Hull City survive. They got a good squad. However, I think that's the way the things play for Hull City this year. Solid squad to go do okay and survive. 17th spot for Hull City. 16th. I'm sorry, Blackburn Rovers fans, but you're going to finish 16th. Ben Brenton Diaz going to Villarreal. Bradley Dack going to Sunderland. rumours circling around that Blackburn are struggling financially. It's not going to be a good season for John Dal Thompson and Blackburn Rovers. Bradley Dack and Ben Brenton Diaz were very good for Blackburn over the last year or two, but then they replaced them with Sondre from Vitesse and some guy from CSK Moscow by the name of Sigurdsson. If those guys don't hit the ground running, where's the goals coming from? That's what I'm scared of for Blackburn. I think those guys, English football for the first time, Championship especially for the first time, very physical league. I think those guys struggled to settle on a little bit at the start, and I think Blackburn, their 16th position is going to be a solid finish for Blackburn this year, with the missing of Bradley Dack and Ben Brenton Diaz. Two big names for them, two big departures. I think Blackburn struggled this year, but I still think they finished 16th. I don't know where to start with this one. 15th, we're going for Watford. João Pedro, Ismaila Sarr, Trost Ekong, Mauro Gaspar, Casabella, Cunha, Bacuna. A lot of talent, and the core squad has left. 3 permanent signings coming on. Ince for like 60,000 I've read. Decent player for Championship. However, is he going to replace João Pedro and Ismaila Sarr? Jake Livermore. That signing just doesn't make sense to me. Yes, he might be a dressing room leader, and you missed your core squad, so you're getting a man for a dressing room leader. But surely Jake Livermore should not have moved to Watford. That transfer in my head just doesn't make sense. Maybe I'll eat my words and Jake Livermore could be in a team of season. I don't know. Healy is one I'm intrigued to see. Defender coming out from Toulouse, and a young English player who went overseas and started his career, sort of like the likes of Jude Bellingham and all that. Went to like Dortmund, etc. This guy went to Toulouse, and now he's back in English football of Watford. Intrigued to see how he does. However, question marks over Valérien Ismaël. Watford are tend to go through 3-4 managers a season, and I don't think this season is any different. I think Valérien Ismaël is a guaranteed car crash waiting to happen. I think Watford fans are agreement as well. I think Watford fans know a manager comes in, he's only there for 3-4 months, and he's gone again. That's why they haven't got. That's why a lot of players, I think, join and leave almost immediately with Watford, because there's no sustainability here. I think that's what Watford's missing. One manager, if he does bad and just keeps you in a Championship, yes, he might have a bad season. Trust that manager. You gotta put your trust in one manager and just be loyal with him for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years, instead of changing the manager for 3 to 4 years. I think that's what hurts Watford, and that's the reason they're not back in the Championship. 14th position, I put the second Welsh team in the Championship, Swansea City. You might think, but Swansea's got a good squad. Yes, I like the additions they made, but first off, let's look at the departures. Michael Obafemi, Morgan Whittaker, Ryan Madding, Joel Latipacio. Definitely butchered his name. 4 big names are gone. However, the manager Michael Duffman to the rescue, brings in Jerry Yates from Blackpool for 2 million. A good replacement, a good striker at Blackpool, but can he do it in the Championship? Time will tell. If he can, then I think Swansea got themselves a brilliant striker to replace Michael Obafemi, who left to go to Burnley and play Premier League football. However, I think the Ryan Manning and Morgan Whittaker departures is going to bite Swansea this year. There's a lot of experience in the squad. I still think they'll survive and do well. I still expect Swansea to bring one or two more names, and depending on who they are, might climb them up a table in my prediction. But Swansea City 14th. This one's going to be one of the feel-good stories of the season. Birmingham City. Birmingham's been struggling for the last couple of years since they got relegated to the Championship. They haven't been able to bounce back like a lot of teams. They've been like toying with relegations a couple of years. There's no sustainability. However, new owners, and right away new owners are spending money. But what I like is that new owners are youth focused. Let's have a look at their incomings, because this is spectacular for me. This is probably the best one to any Championship club. Dion Sanderson from Wolves, 23-year-old centre back. Really excited to see him. Lee Buchanan, 22-year-old English left back from Werder Bremen. Ethan Laird, a 21-year-old from Man United. The experience they brought in, and Tyler Roberts as well. Yes, he's only 25, 26, as well as Christian Bielik. Good experience brought in. A very good transfer window. However, they did lose Tafe Chong and they did lose Joe Bellingham, but then they did replace them as well with younger people. So time will tell whether this will be a good window for Birmingham. On paper, I think it's a good window. Losing Bellingham and Tafe Chong in one season, one window was going to be hard for Birmingham, but I think the signings that they made, the young signings they made, plus the experience of Bielik and Roberts, I think Birmingham will do just fine this year. Around mid-table and 13th position is a good finish for Birmingham. I think if Birmingham do bring in one or two more names, I think Aaron Conley for Birmingham would have been spectacular, but Hull City got him. And a striker, I think if Birmingham bring in a young striker, I think Birmingham could probably finish in the top 10. But at the minute, 13th position for Birmingham City. 12th position, they're bound to be some around here. Millwall Town. Gary Rowe's been in charge for 4 years and he's done very good things. Around a 65-point average per season, which is a good average for Millwall Town, but they get better year on year. The style of football they play, etc. Gary Rowe's a good manager. This is the story that you trust in a manager, give him time. They've given Gary Rowe 4 years. You can see the improvement in Millwall year in, year out. Do they have enough quality? I think Nisbet from Hibernian is a good player at striker, but is he enough to push Millwall on to that next level? I still feel like Millwall's missing one or two pieces of the puzzle before they qualify for the playoffs. However, they're on a good path and they'll continue to stay around the 65, 68 point average as they do every year. I still feel like that'll be a good season for Millwall. Good football to be played, and I think Nisbet will fire around 15 to 20 goals for Millwall this year. And I think Millwall one or two more signings before the season ends, or the transfer window ends, sorry. And Millwall could push the playoffs if they continue on the projection that they went last year. They will push the playoffs with one or two more signings. But 12th position at the minute for Millwall, based on everything. This one's interesting because I'm making this judgment now based on one player staying at the club. Bristol City and Alex Scott. If Alex Scott leaves, Bristol City get a ton of money to reinvest in the club. If Alex Scott stays, you've got a very good young player you're currently building around. If he leaves, you can continue to build a very good squad. However, I think the midfield partnership of Alex Scott, Jason Knight, and Ross McCrory could be the best young midfield partnership in the championship. Jason Knight at Derby, unbelievable. With Ireland national team, one of the best centre mids we've had it this year or two. Team him with Alex Scott, the young player of the year last year, and put Ross McCrory from Aberdeen at CDM, a very high potential centre midfielder who there's a lot of high hopes in Ross McCrory coming through the Aberdeen and Scottish Academy, etc. I think have him behind Alex Scott and Jason Knight, have him as a CDM, Alex Scott and Jason Knight as the attacking players. Bristol City got a brilliant centre mid partnership. That's if they can hold on to Alex Scott. And that is a big if with Premier League teams sniffing around. However, the only thing I think Bristol City are missing is depth. I don't think they have enough squad depth to push the playoffs. They've got a good 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 players. After that, if Alex Scott gets injured, if Jason Knight gets injured, if Ross McCrory gets injured, and that midfield, it could be a troublesome season for Bristol. However, I think Bristol do well, and I think they finish 11th. In 10th position, I went for Stoke City. I think the addition of Mark Travers from Bournemouth on loan back to the Championship, where he had an exceptional season 2 years ago. Brilliant signing, that'll cement your defence. Have Wesley from Aston Villa, who didn't really hit the ground running since signing with Aston Villa. Give him a year at Stoke City in the Championship. Can he do it on a wet Monday night, a wet Monday, Tuesday night in Stoke? Maybe that's what he needs, Wesley, and bounce back season, get his confidence up. If he can come in and score goals, Mark Travers at your defence. A player I'm looking really intrigued is Ryan M.Me, I think his name is. I think that's how you pronounce it. 4 million from a Hungarian champions, Ferencváros. My pronunciation is not the best, okay? He's a good player. I'm intrigued to see. He's a player I'm intrigued to see. I'm not going to go as far as a good player because I don't know that much about him. But this team played European football. He's played European football before with them. 4 million is a huge transfer for the Championship. I think Stoke have good depth. I expect more from them. I just don't think this is their season. I feel like if they continue to bring in people, like if they can make Mark Travers a permanent deal, that would be unbelievable business from Stoke. Wesley is a good loan move. Ryan M.Me is a good 4 million. If you can bring 2 or 3 players on loan while making 1 or 2 permanent big signings a year, I give Stoke 2 years before they're back in the Premier League. If they keep going the way they're going, Stoke could be everybody's dark horses for the playoffs. However, I think of Stoke City 10th place. Norwich City, a team where when they had Todd Cantwell, Teemu Pukki, They were a good team in the Premier League. Things have went downhill massively in Norwich City. Teemu Pukki is gone. Todd Cantwell's the Rangers. The rebuild, young rebuild is starting. Josh Sargent leading the line potentially. However, they did bring in Ashley Barnes. But is Ashley Barnes the 20-goal striker that you need to replace Teemu Pukki in the Championship? I don't think he is. Josh Sargent's not going to be a 20-goal striker. I think Norwich struggle for goals this year. They got a good squad. Andrew Umagbadeli, brilliant player. They did still Jamal Lewis, but they still have Max Aarons. How they've held on to him for so long, I don't know. Good defenders. A good all-round solid squad. But can it click for Norwich? I might be wrong, but I think Norwich finished in 9th position this year. Chapa Akpom, Michael Carrick, Middlesbrough, 8th position, miss out in playoffs. This is a big shout. Okay, I know. Chapa Akpom last year, Golden Boot winner, flew 3 teams for fun. He could have if he repeats the season, Middlesbrough could be in the shout of finishing on top 4, top 3, automatic. However, Chap Akpom is not a one-season wonder, okay? It just took him too long to get to that level that he had last year. He did have Cameron Archer with him as well. Is this the time that Chap Akpom drops down to 10-15 goals a season? Because he has no Cameron Archer, who teams had to watch for Cameron Archer and Chap Akpom. Now they just watch for Akpom. I think Middlesbrough need to bring in another attacking threat. Team him with Akpom, another dangerous attacking threat, so they can share the goals out a bit. Because if Akpom gets injured or anything happens, Middlesbrough in big trouble. Management, Michael Carrick, brilliant. Brought in Diang from QPR. He was the reason QPR did not get relegated or did not do worse last year. Brilliant signing, only for 2 million as well. That fixes the defensive issue that Middlesbrough had. For a player who scored 30 plus goals in the Championship, you would expect Middlesbrough to be in the automatic playoffs or around there, but they struggled, and I think they have a good season this year, but not as successful as Middlesbrough fans think. I think Middlesbrough finishing 8th. Just missing out on playoffs. We got 7 teams left. Just missing out in playoffs. I'm going from West Brom. Don't get me wrong, they have a really solid squad. Palmer, Ajayi, Bartley, Chalobah, Swift, Mowat, Wallace. However, there's one problem, I think. Where's your goals coming from this year, you might ask? Because Daryl Dike is out with an injury with an unknown return date. They brought Josh Maja back to English football after his time with Sunderland to Oxley, I think it was, ended. Oxley now is back in English football with West Brom. He could be a good addition if he hits the ground running. Like if he plays anything like he played at Sunderland, West Brom will have no position or will be in a position to prove me wrong. However, I think the missing piece in Daryl Dike replaced by Josh Maja. If Maja doesn't hit the ground running and Dike's unknown return date and injury, that could be a huge problem. Another thing, I think they do got a solid squad. They got Bartley and Ajayi in defence. However, Darrell O'Shea left for 7.8 million. West Brom could reinvest that really quick, but I think West Brom have a really good squad. I think they just miss out, and I think they miss out because Maja doesn't hit the ground running and goals don't come aplenty while Darrell Dike is out injured. So West Brom, 7th place. The first year back in the Championship, and it's got to be said, Kieran McKenna is a brilliant manager from what he done in Ipswich Town, and Ipswich Town is my shout at 6th place. Playoff football. I might be wrong. Ipswich could get relegated. I don't know. This is the most unpredictable league in the world. I'm going Ipswich Town at 6th place. I think Amari Hutchinson is a brilliant signing for them. George Fairhurst from Leicester City, teaming up with Broadhead and Ladapo, a good attacking threat right there for Championship. Defensively solid. I think maybe they need more Championship midfield reinforcements in there, but apart from that, I think Ipswich have got a solid squad, a solid base to work off. A few, maybe 1 or 2 loan moves as well from like from a Premier League team, just like some midfielders. I think that Ipswich will. I'm relying on Ipswich here to make 1 or 2 more signings before the end of it. Kieran McKenna, George First and Omari Hutchison's two brilliant signings so far. If they can bring in one or two more, especially in the midfield department, I think Ipswich will have no problem pushing for playoffs. And I think if Ipswich finish below mid-table, they'll call it an unsuccessful first season back. Sunderland done it last year, almost a double promotion in a row. I think Ipswich will look at that and go, we want to do that this year. So Ipswich Town, 6th place. 12th place, I'm going Coventry City. Losing Girakas for 20 million. Is it going to be a huge must? Do they take a backward step because of that? And the playoff final losing syndrome, does that hit them? However, I'm really intrigued by their signings. They spent the 20 million very wisely. 7 million on Ellis Sims, a good striker from Everton, really good. Two centre backs, Van Rooyen for 4 million, Thomas for 2.3, and a right mid, Sakamoto to replace Girakas for 2 million. I definitely butchered everyone's name, but it's fine. But I think Ellis Sims is the big one here. He is what Coventry hope is, a 15-20 goal striker, and if he is, Coventry finishing the playoffs without a doubt. They got the squad. Losing Giriakas to Sporting will be a huge miss for them. However, they got the money. They reinvested it really smartly. They still spent only like 16 million, so they still have a couple million change as well. Coventry aren't a team of money, so I was really intrigued at how they spent that. Ellis Sims for 7 million. I think that's a good signing. He's there now permanent. Get him playing some football, get him scoring some goals, and I think Coventry will do just fine. And 4th place is our first of the relegated teams from the Prem, Leicester City. Don't get me wrong, Leicester City have a strong squad. On paper, they should walk into the playoffs. However, the age of the squad is a little bit worrying. A lot of players gone that we expected, like James Maddison, Yuri Temelins, Ayos Perez, Johnny Evans, Daniel Amarta, Sanucci, Barnes, Hurst, Mendy, Bertrand. That is your core. That is your core squad gone because you got relegated. They brought in Connor Cody, who I think is going to be a good championship centre back. Harry Winks, I think is a brilliant signing for centre mid, and Stephen Mvidi I think is going to be signing off this season for the championship. The only reason I didn't put Leicester higher is because I think that core they missed, those 14-15 players that walked and they sold, I think that's massive, especially people like Johnny Evans, Sanucci. They need to bring in, I think, a North centre back or two, but people like James Justin and all still there. Those guys are too good for the championship. Dewsbury Hall, too good for the championship, but they're still there at the time of recording. 4th place for Leicester. 3rd place we're going for Sunderland. Another good run coming. They have the lowest average age in the league. A lot of players coming in the door, especially Bradley Dack from Blackburn, who I think is an unbelievable signing. A lot of youth players then, like Bellingham, Said, Mayota, Semedo, and Nathan Bishop. And Sunderland didn't lose anyone too notable. They had a very good season last year. I think they capitalise on that. Bradley Dacken coming with the 6-7 young people coming in, especially Semedo, who's a Benfica B player. We know that Benfica's academy is brilliant. Bishop, goalkeeper from Man United, for some experience in there, well, some competition in there as well. I think they've got a good season on the cards. Brilliant scouting from Sunderland, brilliant scouting. Tony Mowbray as a manager. I like him as a manager. All in, a good feeling about this. A good base squad. I like this. Sunderland, 3rd place. Now, Southampton and Leeds. To me, it's a toss-up. 2nd place, Southampton. The only reason I'm saying that is they could be losing Ward-Prowse and Lavia. And if they do, I'm counting on that right now. I'm counting to lose Lavia and Ward-Prowse. They lost Orisic and Salisi so far. They haven't lost a lot of players. They got a good young squad. They got Basunu, Bella Kochum. They got a lot of good, talented young players. Shay Charles coming in for 12 million from City. That's crazy fee for a man who hasn't played a professional game for Man City in his life. However, 12 million, a good investment for Southampton in terms of we're going looking for young players to build a team around, and that's what we're focusing on. We got relegated last year. That's fine. I think they were expecting that anyway when they signed everybody. But I think good season incoming for Southampton. They have enough quality. They could even win the league in front of the team I put first, which is Leeds United. Yes, okay. They loaned out and sold Rodrigo, Aronson, Koch, Christensen. But what I really like is at the minute they held on in Nadu, Mesler, Sinisterra, Adams, Daniel James, Somerville. They're all too good for the championship, and they could all leave by the time this video comes out, or they could all leave by the transfer window ends. But at the minute, the players they have on their books is too good for the championship. Messler, Sinisterra, Adams, James, Somerville, and Nada. Those six alone put them in Sheffield Wednesday's team, who are predicted last. Sheffield United will finish in the playoffs. Those six alone are unbelievable. I had even Ampadu and Carol Darlow, the keeper. I think they brought him in on the basis that Messler might walk. If Messler goes, to get maybe 10, 5, 10, 20 million, whatever for Messler. I don't know. Maybe price in the championship will deduct it. Even Ampadu, it's his new club, time to flourish. Brilliant player. I went to watch Wales live once against Spain. He was a standout player. Yes, Wales got beat 3-1, I think it was, by Spain, but he was a standout player for Wales. Ampadu's a brilliant signing for them. If Leeds don't get promoted this year, they could be in trouble, because I think all those players might stay around for a year. But if they don't get promoted this year, I think all of them could end up leaving, and that could be trouble for Leeds. It's this year, or you're in a championship for another 6 years. Which ones did I get wrong? Let me know in the comment section down below. Leave your predictions as well. It's been your boy Team, and I'll see you all in the next video.